did some cleanup language to the charter. Well, there are some serious areas in the charter that really need some major revisions. And Mary, you mentioned today that the fact that we do not have the option to do executive sessions. I think that's just one example which really highlights the need to submit some very substantive issues this cycle to the voters to get permission to modernize and reform our city charter, whether it is a revenue cap issue, whether it's term limits, agenda items, or executive sessions. I think that really there's an opportunity to present these items to the voters, and it's going to take some explanation and explaining to voters whatever the items are. If it's just a revenue cap or term limits or executive sessions or whatever, voters need to be involved in the process. So the clock is running down pretty rapidly. Many citizens posed questions with today's technology. Why do we still have our council meetings at the location and the time we have them? Well, certainly we could change the time today, but we cannot change the location. The charter dictates that the meetings must be here at this particular location. I do believe it makes sense in today's environment, particularly with the public session meetings on Tuesday. We could very easily have those meetings at a different time in a location elsewhere in the city of Houston, but it takes a charter change to have the location someplace else other than City Hall. Those are just some of the things that I think that we should be asking citizens for their input on. The other issue that I'm real concerned about is I'll submit a formal memo, because that's just different ways of doing things to get things off the center point and get things moving. Asking the city attorney and the city secretary to submit to council in writing what type of time is needed to certify signatures on petitions so voters will know whether an issue is going to move forward or not. Now I understand that there are variables that impact that answer to some extent. How many different petitions have been submitted, as an example. There are multiple petitions submitted, multiple issues that require some more work. But there ought to be some indication given to citizens if citizens were to initiate a petition drive with signatures. If they want it certified in enough time to go on the ballot November next year, they need to get that in by what date to the city secretary's office for review, because I think it's very, it's an issue of concern when citizens are told that there's not enough time to certify their particular signatures, and that's, I think, was the case in the anti-feeding ordinance. That simply, there was not enough time represented to certify those signatures. So I think it's fair to pose the question, how much time is needed? And again, I understand that that may be hard to answer if there are multiple issues, but I think it's fair to say that in May, and maybe November as well, if nothing passes in May, we can expect to see several citizen-initiated items going forward for placement on the ballot. Two ways to get there. You can do what I call the Kubarsh route and the red light issue. You can drive it from the community, or the Rebuild Houston issue. You can drive it from the community and get it on the ballot, signature form, or this particular body could vote and decide what issues goes on the ballot before citizens. But again, my point today of keying up is just simply to reiterate that we are less than 12 months away from the certifying date for things to be placed on the ballot for the 2015 election in November. But if you think that items will be placed on the ballot in May of next year, which they probably will be, whether it's from this body or from a citizen-driven effort, then we are only a few months away from the deadline for placing things on the ballot in May of next year. Thank you.
Councilmember Boyd.